Welcome to From Creepin to Preachin'. I'm your host, Renee R. White, a proud native Washingtonian, born, raised, and still live here in the heart of D.C. I spent many years of my life in this incredible city, and it's not just my home, it's where my story began, and where my passion for uplifting my community, especially the youth. This podcast is a space where we can have real, raw conversations about life, faith, and purpose, all rooted in the experience of someone who has walked these very streets and understands the struggles and the beauty of life in D.C. Hello, listeners. This is Season 3, Episode 17. Season 3, Episode 17. And I like to call this one Trust Him. Trust Him. Whew. Family, today we're going to talk about something that doesn't get enough attention in Christian marriage conversations. We talk about wedding vows, honeymoons, romance, date nights, but we don't talk enough about trusting your spouse with money, letting go of financial control in marriage, overcoming insecurity and trust issues with finances, how couples handle bills and budgeting together. And let me tell you, after life happened, that became reality. After the ceremony, after the honeymoon, after the cruises, after the glow of just married, life showed up. We moved in, we settled, we started building real everyday marriage, and we agreed after prayer that we would handle the bills, that he would handle the bills, not we, he would handle the bills. Now let me be crystal clear. Let me say that with clarity. I have always handled my own bills, always. I knew what was due, when it was due, how much was left, what I spent, what I couldn't spend. Budget wasn't, just about something that I did. It's just what was inside of me, because it was security, it was my independence, it was control. So when we decided that he would handle the household finances, something in me tightened up. Because now I had to be secure enough to let go. Let's talk about something real. Money is emotional. When you search how to trust my husband with finances, marriage and money finances, who would manage money in marriage, budgeting in Christian marriages, what you're really searching for is security. Because whoever controls the money controls the sense of safety. And I had to learn something. Trusting him with the bills meant trusting him with my sense of stability. And that's deep. Now here's the part I loved. We had monthly budget meetings. They last about 30 minutes. Simple, structured, focus. He would sit down and show me what was paid, what was outstanding, what we saved, what was coming up, whether we were staying on track for our annual trips. And I appreciated that. There's something powerful about financial transparency in marriage. Those meetings gave me clarity, reassurance, and participation. I wasn't in control, but I wasn't in the dark either. And that matters. Because giving up control should never mean giving up visibility. Now, let's get a little honest. There was one phrase my husband used that I truly disliked, and he would say, "It's tight." And when he said that, it would cripple my mind and my heart. That one statement felt like we're struggling. Did something go wrong? Are we about to lose something? Did I miss something? Are we not secure? Even if everything was technically fine, that one phrase would send my emotions into overdrive. I'd get so mad. Quiet mad, eternal mad, anxious mad, until later he would come back and say, "We good now." And just like that, my nervous system would calm down. But I had to ask myself, why does that word shake me so much? So much. Sometimes the issue isn't the budget. Sometimes the issue is the history. Even if you been financially unstable before? You carried a household alone? You experienced financial betrayal? You survived on your own independently? Then certain words would hit differently. It's tight didn't just mean money was limited. To me, it meant danger, danger. And that's where I had to grow, because he wasn't saying we're failing. He was saying we need to be mindful. But my past translated it differently. This went on for years, and honestly, it still happens sometimes to this day. He says it's tight, and I feel it in my chest. Then he says, we're good now, and I exhale. But what changed over time wasn't his words, it was my security. It began to realize security doesn't come from me managing everything. Security comes from unity. Security comes from trust. Security comes from knowing we are aligned. Here's what I learned about marriage and financial trust. Giving up control doesn't mean giving up wisdom. I still ask questions. I still stay aware, but I don't micromanage. Transparency builds trust. These 30-minute budget meetings saved us. Communication is everything. Words matter in marriage. Sometimes you don't realize how certain phrases affect your spouse. I had to communicate how it's tight made me feel. Trust grows over time. It wasn't instant. It was layered. It was tested. It was matured. Prayer changes perspective. Every time anxiety rose, I had to pray. Lord, help me trust this man. Let's talk about something strong. Have you ever decided to give up your right to run something? Not because you couldn't, not because you weren't incapable, but because unity mattered. That's what it was. It wasn't about ability. It wasn't about alignment. And alignment requires humility. Financial intimacy is just as important as emotional intimacy. When couples set budgets together, review accounts together, plan trips together, discuss goals together, they build a partnership. Even if one person handles the mechanics, both should feel included. And that's what mattered, and that's what worked for us. It's not perfection, it's not abandonment, it's not constant overflow, it's communication. Communication. Have you ever given up control of your household finances? Trust your spouse to handle the bills? Struggle with insecurity around money? Being triggered by certain financial words or phrases? How did you handle it? Did it strengthen your marriage? Did it expose trust issues? Did you regret it? Did you grow from it? I want to hear from you, because someone listening right now is afraid to let go. Someone listening right now is managing everything and feeling exhausted. Someone listening right now is triggered every time their spouse says, money is tight. I learned that this was just protective of money. It wasn't just protective of money. It was protective of control. I learned that trust requires vulnerability. I learned that sometimes my husband's leadership is one area that doesn't diminish me. It complements me. And I learned that peace in marriage is worth more than control. And after life, after the move, after the bills, after the budget meeting, what remained was we were building. We were just building. Not just financially. We was building emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. And even when he says it's tight, I've learned to breathe, because tight doesn't mean broke. Tight doesn't mean we're failing. Tight doesn't mean unsafe. Sometimes tight just means we're readjusting or readjusting. Listeners, if this episode spoke to you, share with another couple navigating marriage and money challenges. Subscribe, leave me a review, join the conversation, and tell me, have you trusted your spouse to run your household finances? What did you learn from it? Would you do it again? This is real life after the honeymoon. This is merge beyond the pictures. This is growth. And this is Creepin' to Preach. Tune in 9 a.m. iHeart, Apple, Spotify, YouTube to catch up on all episodes. And you can subscribe so you won't miss any new content. Or you can grab your copy of my book on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. As you read along, all the twists, the turns, and the triumph unfolding, you will gain a deeper understanding of my testimony of life, changing lessons behind every story. Let's walk this path together. Your journey of healing and hope is just one page away. Let's keep this conversation going. I'm excited to hear how you're peeling back your layers and embracing your moment of. Trust him. Also, make sure you visit my website, Creepin' to Preaching, for more updates, fresh merch, resources, and information about upcoming episodes. I'd like to thank my producer, McKinley, with Moving Emotion by Mac. See you next week.